Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome to Morning Brew. Wherever you're watching, excuse me, I do hope you're having a good one. And I'd like to welcome you all this morning. Let's get started in the chat. Dr. Alex was first and says, "Hello, Captain Trek." Good afternoon, Dr. Alex. Uh, Shooter8323 says, "Hail all," and first like in. Cool. That's awesome, Shooter. Thank you. Keely Chow says, "Hey, everybody, good morning. And please donate to Drew's Gifts and Go," and puts in the link. And people saying hi to each other. And please subscribe to CG Slums, and puts in the link there. And Mega Cropper says, "Morning, Captain Trek and crew. Good morning, Mega Cropper." Dave G Sound says, "Good morning, Brew." Good morning, Dave G Sound. How are you today? TWTG content. Good, uh, whatever the hell it is where you are. Good night, I think. Um, and of course, people saying hi to each other. Dave is having connection problems. I'm sorry to hear that. Uh, and I do hope you're having a good night there in Australia. Stick around for a bit, but it's nearly bedtime here in Australia, and I have to work. Yeah. David G. Sound says, "I pouring one badass cup of Joe. Cool. Watched any good streams over the weekend? Only ones I was on. Um, it was funny. I was watching Orville Nation last night, and so all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, check your DMs." So I switch over and I look. I had a DM. It wasn't from him, but I had a DM, so I went ahead and answered it. And he's like, "Oh, just wait a minute." And I was typing something in the chat to let him know I didn't get anything. Um, when I suddenly got something, and it was an invite to come up there, which is kind of cool. Um, of course, the funny thing was, you know, it. I was on there talking, and then Deej came on, and then I don't remember somebody else. Um, because at that point I started to get tired, and I finally had to just put in the backstage that I was fighting sleep at that point. Um, so I feel bad because I had to leave. I ended up setting up this stream before going to sleep. So if there's any mistakes, I'm sorry. That's what happens when you're doing it, trying to fight sleep. Um, and then I put the link in the chat over there, and then I just laid my butt down and went to sleep. I didn't even say stay for the rest of the stream. Six is sitting in a waiting room, so I can't listen, but I can wave. That's true. Um, Six, you need an earbud or something so you can actually listen. And somebody needs to put that in the chat because you can't hear it, but you can read it. I can do that right now. There we go. People saying hi to Six. And good morning, Gorilla's Random Thoughts. Now, I have been how do I say this? I have not been a supporter of New Trek. I've made that very clear. And so I watched the teaser trailer for Strange New Worlds, which didn't contain anything that was controversial. There were none of the characters. There was nothing but the ship, which had the wrong number of um, impulse engines. But I can overlook that. Um, Yet people were saying, "I watched this trailer. It didn't sound like Star Trek. It didn't sound like Star Trek. Really? Um, did you all have the audio on? Because it sounded exactly like Star Trek." Now the part where it got to the new stuff, they just played stuff in the minor. It was Star Trek. As much as I think that show's probably going to suck, based on the teaser trailer, though, yeah, that's Star Trek. There's no. I don't get the number of people complaining because it doesn't sound like Star Trek, because it sure as fuck does. I mean, really, are you all listening with your brain turned off or the volume turned off or something? Really? And hey, Joker Voice, how are you this morning? Six says, I know, Captain, I should keep one in my purse. Exactly. That would be a good idea. You know, I was giving some thought to some stuff. I happened to catch something on YouTube. It was one of the old GI Joe cartoons, and I'm amazed. And this isn't just about um, politics, but I'm amazed at the number of people who, let's just put it this way, most of the world is being run by Cobra now for going in a GI Joe realm, and people are being trained to love it. Then when the heroes come along, they're the bad guy because these people are following Cobra. People in mass are stupid. People in mass are stupid. I don't understand. I really don't. It doesn't make any sense. The number of people who blindly follow any. Oh, and I'm sure you've heard the news on the Ministry of Lies and Disinformation, because I saw a picture of her and it's like, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Uh, and Shooter 8323, Mega Cropper. I don't know who the good guys are in this case anymore. It's a Cobra versus Destro, which is the worst. Right now, it's Russia, and you're right. The masses in today's world would rather be controlled than have individual freedom. Well, you know what? Fuck that. I want my individual freedom. Did I miss Brightest Day? Because I didn't see him come in. Ah, yes, I did. And hi, Brightest Day. How are you today? Joe always says, I'm quite wonderful, just chilling at work. Well, I hope work is going well today for you, Joker Voice. I was going to say Hydra, but Cobra works as well. Thought about that, but the earmuffs would send a message. If not, they'll work. Okay. 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 I missed a message in there. Okay. I'm pretty sure the proper response is to yell, shut the fuck up. I tend to agree with that. I don't even know the situation. Uh, 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 I'm sorry. I know people who sing, whistle, hum religious music. And when it's done badly, it doesn't make me think of God. It makes me think of, oh my God, please shut them up. Ugh. I mean, that's not the thing I should be thinking, but and Brightest Day says I exist. Yeah, yeah. Write me, DM me. You and I need to talk. Joker voice says it's 1984. We're at war with whomever the overlords say is fashionable at the moment, meaning whoever we can score political points from. Yeah, basically. Uh, for some reason, I see Sick yelling, shut the fuck up a lot. you see her. Well, you don't see her, but you hear her talking. She sounds so sweet, so proper, and I'm sure that when the time comes, I'm sure she looks just as sweet and innocent. But I'm sure when the time comes, she is ready to yell, "Shut the fuck up." Shooter8323 says, "We have a federal election here in Australia. In the Senate, I'm voting, and blah, blah. Max Dix and James Bond. No joke, they're the names of some of the independent candidates." Max Dix. Oh, I would change my name, quite honestly. It doesn't make me think of God, makes me think, oh my God. Yeah, well, it's the truth. Because it's like, I'm sorry, I do appreciate music, but really, it's just like some of the commercials nowadays. They used to pay people to actually sing in tune. And, oh, now they're shooting ones where I guess they're more real life, where they're singing way the fuck out of tune. It's just annoying as hell. That's another reason I stopped watching TV, because of all those stupid commercials where singing. And it's like, yeah. And Joker Voice says, "Be sure to check out my channel. Growing to 200 subs is the next goal. Yes, let's help him reach that goal." Uh, Max Dix all the way. Yeah, I would. Maximilian Richards. Well, see, that would make sense. Problem with modern politics here in Australia is it doesn't matter who is elected, nothing's going to change. The administrative bureaucratic class needs to be uprooted. I think that the same is true worldwide. You have people who are voted into office or put into office, and they stay there for too fucking long. And I don't know. I don't know. I normally don't like. Ugh. I normally don't like to talk politics, which is funny because I've been talking to somebody who talks a lot of politics, and trying to get him on Morning Brew sometime. Seeing when it's convenient for him to come on. Um, and of course, his thing is more uh, worldwide than just United States, because he's not from the United States. So um, it'll be interesting to see what happens then. Yeah, we do have some diversity here, but it always ends up one of the two main parties, and neither one is a good option. Yeah, same here. Same here. Oh, I no, I thought the names were funny too. I read them. Um, At first I skipped them, but I skimmed over them, and then I realized, oh wait a minute, yeah, these are funny names. Good morning, Resolute Germ. How are you this morning? Um, let's see here. Let me go ahead and see about. I was hoping somebody was going to show up this morning, but I guess they're busy. Uh, BG Vegan, good morning. V, V, I can't, and that's not vegan, but BG Vegan, that, nah, I need more coffee for this shit. I really do. But I'm putting in the StreamYard link. It's not Friday, but I'm going to open it up anyhow. Um, I'm hoping that I'll get that guest on Wednesday. I'll see what's going on then. Um, and Mark Krells says, "Yay, coffee! Yeah, I need coffee. I need coffee." uh, Joker always says, "I don't have my gear with me, or I would have been able to jump in. Sorry, Captain. No problem. No problem. Um, I just appreciate the fact that you think of it. Uh, don't mix your politics with our political talk. Oh dear Lord, people would not want to know what I think. Quite honestly, I think the left and right are both nuts. And Mike Jimmy says, I received all the books for Life on Core number 5 fulfillment a few weeks ago. Awesome. Oh, I am sorry to hear that, Resolute Germ. Slept through most of yesterday and now I'm in horrible pain. So the day is going great so far. BG. I'll just call you BG. How about that? Okay, we got somebody in the backstage. Good morning.
How you guys been?
Been pretty good. What about you?
Oh god. Well, considering that I've been here with my mom dealing with losing dad, and I've been on an oxygen tank for over 2 weeks, uh, better than you'd think I'd be.
I hadn't heard about the oxygen tank.
Basically, perfect storm of too many things hit me at once, and I ended up collapsing on about a week before the funeral,
Oh,
and I wasn't getting blood oxygen. So,
yeah, that would kind of make you go down. Yeah, you're right.
so yeah. Um, Steve found out a few days ago that his grandmother is going to have to go back onto chemo in her 80s.
Oh,
Yeah, did not good. So, I'm doing this actually pretty good, all things considered. I'm sick as I am and still on the oxygen tank, and I made about 10 of the gallon jars full of different bath salts and skin scrubs and stuff yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, all things considered, better than I should be considering everything. But
I did hear about the bath salts. Now that I did hear about the
the
salts, yeah,
yeah, I was
scrubs.
literally got a whole bunch of bags of Epsom salt, Dead Sea minerals, different sea salts and stuff, and actually blended them out with different healing oils. So,
Cool.
because let's face it, bath bombs and bath soaks and salts are expensive as hell.
Yeah, and
But
only
they're
getting worse.
also but they're also really useful if you have, chronic pain, muscle issues, and shit like that.
Yep.
I made mom a giant jar that has all of her favorite scents and a bunch of the stuff in it that helps her cleanse her skin when she has reactions to city exposures and stuff like that. So she has something to clean up with after she goes through the city to do errands.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to figure out what a gallon jug of the store bought ones, if you're trying to get, natural ones with Dead Sea salts, would actually cost. Oh,
Uh,
God.
I don't want to know.
I'm sitting here thinking, if you start getting the expensive ones and the ones with like Dead Sea salts and stuff like that, you're talking about usually several dollars a bath. And I basically gave her a jar that can do a couple hundred baths easy.
You're talking, a few $100 worth store wise.
Most of what I've done the last few weeks is make stuff, sell stuff, and fundraise for mom to help pay for funeral costs and for bills for the next few months. That's most of what I've done. So
That's good.
even when I was sick, I came back from the emergency room and sat down and started beating stuff and sending packages. I've always
You
been
know,
stubborn.
stubborn. Yeah, that's a way to put it. That's a way to put it. Well, you have a good day, Gorillas. Random thoughts. Hopefully, work goes well today.
But I think right now I'm in this state where it's more like I'm trying to take care of everybody else.
Yep.
Supposed to spend tomorrow with my niece and supposed to see my other niece this weekend. So my mom and my aunt are trying to put together the stuff for the giveaways next year now. I don't know if you know much about how funerals are done with some of the tribes.
No.
In Lakota tradition, the year after you lose the person, the next summer basically,
Mm-hmm.
together again to memorialize the person that you loved that you lost, at which time all the people who are connected to them, all the people who get together, give each other special gifts that were made and gathered and stuff that are in tribute to that person that you lost.
Right.
So somehow in the next year and a half, my mom and my aunt want me to make special beaded tribal stuff for everyone for both of them, along with finishing the Eagle book and getting it printed so they can give it out to the family during them.
Wow.
So I need to make, because of the size of my family, I have to finish the book, get it printed, get hundreds of copies made, and make somewhere between 600 to 1,000 necklaces, key fobs, and shit like that with tribal stuff. Yeah.
That definitely sounds like you've got lot ahead of you. Good thing you
but
have a little time.
but it's family, so I use some of the sales that I've been making to help pay for stuff for mom, and ordered mass bulks of all the supplies I would need to do a bunch of the sacred colors and the tribal medicine wheels and stuff, and
Hmm.
I've been making them. I've got a whole crap load of spools of suede cording and stuff that I've been making necklace chains and stuff out of and stuff. So I'm making good progress on it, but it's going to take months, you know.
No doubt.
But to be clear, I spent 2 weeks on an oxygen tank, and in that 2 weeks on the oxygen tank, I managed to raise almost $3,000 for my mother,
Well, that is good.
and a lot of work. But it is nice to see a little of the pressure off her.
That is, yeah. I can only imagine that one. Good night, shooter. You have a good night. Sleep well. Mara says, by the way, a little update from my side. My ears officially are okay again since Wednesday last week, but still need to take some time to get back into everything. I wish I uh, would have some peace now from the doctors.
I'm glad that one part's doing better, and I hope you feel a lot better soon.
And good morning, Eldridge, Lord Haster. How are
Hi,
you today?
Hoster, sweetie. But it is kind of interesting to me because I think I kind of didn't tell mom that I spent when she first told me this happened
Mm-hmm.
while I was getting ready to get over here and help her out in those few days. I spent several hours online with Richard, and me and him spent time fundraising and collecting donations and stuff to help mom.
Well, that's
And
good.
I had told her at that point I knew that one of the guys that I used to stream with when I used to stream with Curie had sent me 100 to help her out. I
Yeah.
didn't tell her how much else I had. I told her I'd be bringing that plus a bit more. I didn't tell her I was coming in the door with $1,200. So that kind of took her by surprise a little bit when I handed her that cash. Um,
Yeah.
it was a good surprise. It was a relief and less stress surprise, but it was kind of funny her reaction when she starts going through it and looking at it, going, "Wait a minute," recounting it about 4 or 5 times, like because all I told her is there'd be over 100 in this, and I gave her the little envelope, and it had over 1,000. But yay, right?
Absolutely. Yay. Let's see here. And because Geek says, I am free again to swim the scum of Twitter. Yay. Yeah.
I gotta admit, bitch slapping trolls on Twitter is kind of my way of taking out my stress and grief.
See, I unfortunately have not been uh, blocked by somebody. I've been hoping to be blocked by.
Oh, do tell in private. I'm curious
Oh,
now.
no, it doesn't need to be in private. It's George K.
Yeah,
Mackay.
I would love to get him to block me.
I would definitely
I
call him.
point out all the time when he advocates for things that were the same things that put him in a concentration camp at one
Mm-hmm.
point, and he did. Him and his minions don't like half the shit I say, but I haven't managed to get him to block me yet.
It's like you're advocating for the same thing that ended up causing you to be in a concentration camp. Uh, what?
Because he's completely lost it. He's psycho. You got to remember, I called out both sides for protecting people who've basically said that they were predators and defending predators. I called out the right when they kept defending Milo when he kept coming out and publicly saying stuff about men and boys together. The thing is, Takaya said the same shit. He did one interview, and I listened to it at the time when he did it. I can't remember who it was with now, where he was literally saying that he was trying to get a guy sedated so he could pressure him into sex in the apartment.
Um,
And I'm sitting there going,
um,
I'm sorry, I don't like predators on either
wow.
side. And I remember listening to this going, holy shit, you gotta be kidding me. And he was laughing at it, like, oh, this is no different than buying a girl drinks at the bar. It's like, no, when you take him to your place and you're playing him with stuff to try to get him to be knocked out, that's different than giving a girl drinks at a bar.
Uh huh.
That's not the same.
No, no. When a girl is at the bar, she's usually there to get drinks, and then
And there's
if
also
she's
that,
if she's interested, maybe she will.
yeah, there's also a difference between buying a drink is different than here, fly you with it.
But of course, some people they're thinking it's like, well, this is different. It's no, it's the same. It's the same thing. God, I I don't understand people. I really don't.
It is people that they're so concerned about their political biases. They bitch constantly about the other side, and meanwhile, they're doing the exact same shit. And they're the ones that get to me. It's like, okay, all the people who screamed about the TDS crowd and how inappropriate it was to say fuck Trump and stuff are the same ones running around going, let's go, Brandon. It's like, you're doing the exact same shit. You're all
Yep.
assholes on both sides. Fuck you. You know?
Exactly.
It's the exact same shit. You're no better than them. In fact, because you bitched about them for 4 years, calling them satanic and traitorous and everything else, you're worse. You're a hypocrite.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate them both. I fucking hate them both. I'm honest. But I hate hypocrites. I hate it.
Well, and it's funny because if you called them out, they'd be like, "Well, blah blah blah." It's only returning what they did. I'm sorry, that isn't what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be acting better, not the same. This isn't kindergarten. Kindergarten, if somebody pokes you, you poke them back. I get that.
Well, there's a difference also between, because I've heard people compare it to self defense. It's like, no, self defense is you have to defend yourself, so you fight. It's not you, oh, somebody hit me months ago, so I'm going to come up behind them and hit them now. That's not self
Yeah,
defense.
no.
And yeah, okay, it makes it makes me feel insane because I am not. I will never be that person. I will never do the things that piss me off.
Well, the funny thing is, it's like they're they were the ones. Well, that hurt their feelings. Really? You're getting revenge now because somebody hurt your feelings, and you're bitching because people are talking about their feels. Um, yeah, shut up. Move on.
Sorry, banana, but it doesn't matter if you're literally just saying fuck this person or fuck that person because you disagree with their politics or you disagree with things. Like I said, I hate them both. I really hate them both. But if you literally complain about somebody, swearing about somebody and complaining about them, and then do the exact same thing, you're not better than them. And the problem isn't whether or not you think one has a legitimate point or not. First of all, there's a lot of different reasons people will say it to both sides. There are. That doesn't mean there's, you know, I said fuck Trump plenty, and I had nothing to do with believing anything the media lied about. And the media lies for both sides. Depends on which media outlet you go to. You know?
Okay, this has got to be the weirdest thing I've seen in a while. Milton is actually making sense. When it comes to politics, you have the same assholes on both sides, and it actually affects the good people that actually want to help people. Oh
The,
my
the
God,
that
Milton is
is
making sense.
Milton. You actually hit a truth here. So the thing is, because we don't actually have the left and right as it was defined anymore. We have progressive right and progressive left, which is big government. They want the same thing. They just want it for their side and their agenda. And it's not actually about the people, it's about power.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I've tuned out of the system. And I'm still involved. I still vote. I still help host political movements, stuff like that. I don't put myself in the system as much as I did, and I don't let myself tie to either side anymore because I was so involved for so long, and I've seen the corruption on both sides, and I hate them both.
You know, it's unfortunate because, there isn't a good guy. It's, which guy is, or person is the better of the two bad. I
Hmm. And I think that's why if what you see is the extremists on both sides are disgusting as hell, and then you see the people who were on both sides being pushed more to the middle with each other, and that the greatest example I see of that is goes back to the times I spent talking with Anthony, where literally part of what we talked about and connected on when we first started talking when we first met was him complaining about how the liberals left him, and me complaining about how I am a traditional Coolidge era conservative, which is against a lot of the racism. That's when it was, they were opening up more stuff to natives before all the crazy shit happened again. That's when there was less of the bullshit before everything got weird. And both of us talk about how our sides just slowly drifted away from us and went more extreme and more crazy until we couldn't be tied to them.
exactly. You're you're an old school conservative. I'm an old school liberal.
And we're
I
more closely tied in the center now than we'll ever
mm-hmm,
be to our parties because the parties have
exactly.
abandoned what we were. Because I do believe most people genuinely are decent people who want to do the best they can to help people and help uh, the system. And the extremists are the ones with the voice.
Absolutely. They're the ones that yell the loudest. The
Hmm.
ones that yell the loudest get the most attention. The wheel gets the grease. If she weren't married, you never know.
Yeah, it is. Most people, when I start talking about Coolidge era and I go into, there actually was, Coolidge actually was really good on treatment of minorities, actually, too. He actually did a lot of the crap back then. And it got redone as soon as he was out of office. But he at least tried, you know? And for that era, that was amazingly forward thinking and yet still conservative in other ways, you know?
Hmm. Well, see, the problem now, BG, is that a lot of people's like, if somebody gets cheated, robbed, or deceived, they now think they have legitimate reason to cheat, rob, or deceive somebody else because it's only fair.
You mean
When
like
you
the
should know what it's like and how bad it is. Why would you want to inflict the same thing on somebody else?
Yeah, I consider your analogy. I would put with the same thing as what the rioters were. They claimed that all these people were violating their human rights or doing wrong to them as innocent victims. Well, then why would you riot and damage people's businesses, homes, or hurt other people who they're not the ones who hurt you? You're just victimizing another person.
Hmm. And a lot of the businesses that were burned were what, black owned,
There's an analogy I can make to
which
that.
makes
Going to
absolutely no sense.
one of the people that I
We're going
know
to
that
riot because, yeah,
I know
go
one
ahead.
of the people that died during that. Black business owner. But yeah, it's all about blacks, right? Um, but I find it interesting because I can analogize this really simply with okay, I've been over in the city I live in, which you know where it is.
Hmm.
I the church I'm on the board of is an inner city black church. It is eh, about a 2 block span from leaving the ghetto and heading into the other neighborhoods, right? So you have
Right.
very ghetto here, so big road, fancy neighborhood here, right on the other side of it, right?
Hmm.
That fancy neighborhood, we had tried for a decade to try to get them involved in helping the disabled black kids in the inner city, helping with the rape victims and stuff like that we work with in the church and stuff. They didn't care, crickets. They didn't want to be involved. They didn't care what happened to them. And yet suddenly the riots all start, and all these fancy homes have BLM signs in their yard, but they still don't want to help out the churches that are actually helping kids in those neighborhoods. It had nothing to do with believing in a fucking thing other than they thought that, those animals in the inner city might riot and steal from us, so we're just going to, put it out for face so that they won't touch us. Their opinions, their bigotries, their hatred, their intolerance, and their basically numb to the what's going on and don't care didn't change. The
Good
only
morning,
thing that
Cardinal Sin.
changed,
Hmm.
the only thing that changed was they were pandering. That's it.
And yes, the ministry of lies and misinformation is coming. You're right.
Oh yeah, and tell me if there has ever in history been a point when a group has called themselves a ministry of truth where it hasn't become a really bad thing. Yeah, that's gonna be a crickets because nobody can say that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That one, as soon as I heard the name, I'm sitting there going, "Holy shit, you're not that fucking stupid." Oh wait, it's Biden. I mean,
The
I'm
problem
sorry.
is, even the even the Trump administration would have been that stupid.
Oh, I agree.
I mean,
Uh,
I'm sorry. I know there are a lot of people that listen to like Trump, still like Trump. I wouldn't vote for him if he were on the ballot. I have personal issues with his business practice. I think he's scum. I'd vote for him over Biden, but no, I wouldn't vote for either of them.
yeah, and I'm okay with the. But I mean, all these people. The one that got to me. Okay, so do you know what's actually been going on with the hotel in Rapid City?
No, what happened?
They made national news because there's actually a hotel in Rapid City where the owner openly stated online that she's violating civil rights and not allowing natives on property.
Wow.
Oh, it goes deep. There's so much shit this woman's pulled, and she's been caught. It's not just words. She's been caught. They've actually investigated her. She's been caught trying to keep people off the property, and
Why?
because she's a racist piece of shit. Yeah, and I this fight is going on now. Rapid City is the city I grew up in. A The people that try to say the entire city is reflected that way, no, it's not. There are some bigots there. There's also a very large native population, and most of us get along fine with each other, you know? But there is an issue with some of the upper class in that city. There has been for a very long time. I got into it with somebody because, and this is not an exaggeration, my home city, my
Mm-hmm.
tribe being targeted, my family being the ones that are being denied access, my family being the ones that are helping, you know, put together, instigate, and do marches against it. And I
Right.
got told by somebody who's a BLM activist that I was trying to make it about me because I told them they don't know what they're talking about in that city. I'm sitting there going, bitch, it is about me. It literally is about me. Go back to your BLM bullshit and shut the fuck up.
Trying to make it about you. Hmm.
My home city,
Hmm.
my tribe, my family. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And I was one of the ones helping put together the marches. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is about me. Just saying, you
Yeah.
know? And I cite, and part of why the right can fuck my opinion is I cite the same stupid bitch when I talk about the bigotry that does exist in Rapid City. Tommy fucking Laren. You've heard the comments that she makes publicly about the little white city she grew up in. Because that's that little blonde bimbo that runs around kissing Trump's ass all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she grew up in Rapid City. She grew up in the same city I did. 2/3 of the students in the schools are native or part native. It's not a fucking white city, first of all. Everything she's said about the city is lies pushing a racial agenda. She's actively anti native. And the so called map that lied about where the tribal property lines were to defend Trump and Keystone, she's the one
Mm-hmm.
who made it up. She's the one who actively created disinformation to try to target natives.
Good morning, Mr. CCTV. Why do people do that?
Oh fuck, she's just a racist little piece of blonde shit. Sorry, and it's not about which side she's on. It's about she's a racist piece of shit. And I say this, and people are like, "You just don't like the right." It's like, first of all, she's not that conservative. In fact, she's a pro-choice woman who defended Planned Parenthood. That's not conservative. So
No.
it's not even about whether it's right or left. She's I don't know what you would define her as. Some whack line in the center that's still supporting racism. I mean, I don't know what the fuck you'd call her. I mean, but yeah, she is an absolute tool of disinformation. She works in the media and she makes up bullshit maps and all this shit to try to push agendas and stuff. Everything she says is up her ass. Do you remember the show Idiot Test?
Mm-hmm.
They did an episode where it was one of the guys from Young Turks against her. And it was literally, there was so much bullshit and there was so much that neither of them knew that in the end, the host gave it to Tommy because she was attractive because neither of them had any score.
Okay. And good morning, Courtney's Fellowship of Oddballs.
And I'm actually not kidding on that. I've got to find that episode again because it was funny as hell. She is so dumb. Oh my god.
Good morning, Birdo Prey 5.
Hi, Bird.
And of
But
course, author Stephen Walton shows up today. Two-party system is an
Walton.
illusion.
Walton, how you been, sweetie?
Oh, I'm amazed. He's an awesome guy. I had him on last week. I never did get to talk about some of the things I was wanting to talk about. It was we just kept talking, and I was just having fun.
And the reason I've been mostly off camera is because I am still in the hose. I've also been on medical steroids for 2 weeks and my all puffy.
Well, see, now that you've been on camera, now you there's no doubt you're on oxygen.
Yeah. And my face is very swollen and puffy. You know what moon face is.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the most common side effect of medical steroids. I've been on medical steroids for 2 weeks. So, yeah. This is not my normal face. I'm not usually this round.
No,
So, I'm feeling a little self conscious about it.
you don't have to be on camera. I mean,
I know, but
self
it's
conscious.
also being honest about things. Is I know it's not my normal state of being. I know I'm not usually this big of a mess, but it's life.
Well, you usually are that big of a mess, but you just don't look like it. Um,
That's the other reason I like being on camera more. It's easier to tell people to fuck off. I gotta watch my language some. I'm in my mom's house.
this is true. Six is listening now. Cool.
Get up here, people. We need more people to talk to.
And good morning, Darius Munchausen. How are you?
Yeah, that's the other thing. The arms puff up, and I think the only positive in it is it puffs the boobs up too, so at least it compensates. I mean, for some reason, as puffy as my face and other parts get, my husband sits there and looks at me going, "Aw," yeah. Thank you.
Ah, I love the chat. I love the chat.
Well, we have a crazy fucking community.
Oh,
I miss everybody between the leg injury, and I was just starting to get over that and trying to get back
yeah.
into streaming. And then this happened with Dad, and I don't know what's going to go on for several months here, but I'm still in recovery on the leg injury. They're talking, basically how they had to rehab it for almost a year because how bad they tore it. So I've just healed enough now I can start doing physical therapy, and this is literally I'm going to be sitting here making stuff for Mom and working on stuff for the giveaway and for helping fundraise to pay her bills and stuff, while I'm going to be sitting there trying to help keep her cheered up and calm. And I'm probably going to be, having like leg machines and stuff that I can work while I'm sitting, so I could do those while I'm doing it. Because I don't know how else I'm going to manage to do everything. I know that's terrible. So much shit happened at once. It was so quick with what happened with Dad because it was literally my mom calls me and tells me they're heading to the hospital. Something's going on, and his lymph nodes were swollen, and he had a lump on his neck and stuff. And it was just very sudden. It hit him and stuff, and they got him to one hospital, and they thought, well, it's acting like it could be a lymphoma. Well, that would have been more treatable. Um, they got him moved to another hospital for a couple days, and in that time, I went to see him because he wanted to see me, and we pretty much were pretty sure at that point this wasn't going to be something he was going to come home from. But we're still trying at least. So
yeah.
then they sent him over after they got the blood works back. They sent him over to the leukemia hospital in Denver, and it was less than a week from going to the first hospital to when he passed, because what they said is that he had the most aggressive form of leukemia known to man, and it's usually a few weeks to 2 months that people live once it starts developing.
Wow.
with almost no survival rate. So they're we're literally saying it's less than 100 cases a year globally of this type.
Wow, that's a surprise. Good morning.
Yeah,
Um,
it was like we were all just sitting there going, boom, and hey, Cece.
Good morning. And I was going to say, what in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here? But now I know. Now I know what's going on. I'm going to turn my camera on just for a second, but I'm going to turn it right back off because I scare people apparently.
Stay
I
on
don't know
camera.
how
You're not scary.
I don't know how that scares people, but
Well, there's nothing here. I don't have anything to twirl anymore. Yeah, that's fun. No, uh, I understand what you're going through, Rosetta. I I progressed really, really quickly over the last few weeks, and so even though I just woke up, I still sound like I've been drinking for hours and hours on end. So I get it, I get it. But hey, whatever. It's gonna happen. Life, the universe, and everything. I've been taking care of dying family members for years, so I get to be taken care of now. I like it.
So what is going on with you? I haven't been able to talk to you in a while.
Oh, uh, Captain Trek, you're familiar, right?
yes, I am.
Okay. I have multiple sclerosis.
I know that part. Yeah.
Yeah, and this last month, apparently, it's been going on for several months because my aunt was here and was like, "There's a really big um, uh, 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 personality change in you," and I went, "Really? I don't know." But then these last couple of weeks, it's been exactly that. It's like I notice myself changing now. I get like this pain behind my eye, and I go, "Oh shit, it's coming on," and then everything is confused, you know. And I'm not having strokes. I've been checked out, right? I've been checked for strokes, heart attacks, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, everything. I've been checked for all of it. So it's not anything that is. It's.
Yeah, there's
I
nothing
don't know why
and
it's
yeah.
taking me so long to figure out what words I'm supposed to say.
If it's affecting your brain chemistry, which it sounds like it is,
It
and
is.
MS will do that as it gets over.
Yeah, I
Anything that's
know.
known to help deal with brain chemistry and brain function, vitamins and stuff that help with the neuromuscular and neurological should help alleviate some of that symptoms.
Yeah, the
So,
symptoms,
so
but
things like L-carnitine,
anything that
CoQ.
they try and
Well,
prescribe for me
no,
for
no, not prescribed.
remissive.
Not prescribed here. This is something I learned with dealing with the MD too.
Okay,
Things
I'm
like
stopping.
things like CoQ and L-carnitine and stuff, because they're things that your body produces that you end up deficient in when you
Supplements.
go through that. Yes, supplement
Hmm.
some of the things that you lose through the MS. It will help alleviate some of that damage. It won't stop it. It won't heal it, but it will help alleviate some of the pain and the damage, and it'll help slow its progression. That's what I've had to do with MD. That's what my dad had to do with MD.
Never
And
tried
it's
And
what a lot of
anything.
people I deal with that deal with MS have to do. So it does actually help.
happy birthday, Stephen Walton.
Happy
Have a good
birthday.
day.
But yeah, my dad, he had multiple forms of muscular dystrophy, and they were severe types. And he was, I was not even quite 3 when they told us that he wasn't going to live more than a couple more years, and that he'd probably be in a wheelchair by the end of the year. And he was never in a wheelchair, and it wasn't the muscular dystrophy that took him out. He was almost 64, and it never beat him. So Every
Well,
little thing you can do to push yourself,
I
it will
appreciate
give
the
you
good
hope.
thoughts and the good vibes. Trust me, I do. I really do, and I love it that everybody's going, "Hey, Mister CCDV, you're up and around again. I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks." And I go, "Thank you. I'm here.
So
I'm
that
doing
that
it. I'm
that's
doing it."
that's just my big advice to you is there's things like that your body will lose. Research which things are most likely to be lost through the type of MS you have and supplement that.
Yeah. Well,
It
I
does it
tried.
does
I
help a
tried the
lot.
medications I tried the medications for the remissive version, right? And they made me worse, so I stopped taking them. Which
Well,
means that I know I have the progressive version, right?
and
And
that's
that's
the thing is
fine.
I've had a
But
lot of those issues too where the meds that
it's
treat the problems I have cause me more problems than the things they're treating. So I've had to
yeah.
find other ways to at least alleviate it and slow it.
And thank you. It's Courtney's Fellowship of Oddballs. Thank you very
But
much. Yeah, neurological and cognitive stuff sucks. I don't like dealing with it.
yeah, and you guys both know that I've dealt with that stuff for years. That's why I wanted to give you some of these things to think of. And like I said, it's not a heal, it's not a cure, but neither are the medicines they'll give you. When you have these kinds of conditions, what you have is meds that slow the progression and ease some of the symptoms. That's all you can really do. And there are natural supplements that will help do that also.
Well, I am looking forward to taking my kids to Phoenix Comic Con. I'm sorry, they're not allowed to call it Comic Con, so it's Phoenix Fan Fusion. That's at the end of this month, and I'm really excited, and I'm looking forward
I
to
hope you
going.
guys have a great time. I was going to say one other thing. It is actually turning into one of our favorite memories um, because a couple of years ago when I went up Crazy Horse, when I was doing the stream stuff when I first started, I did to prepare to do the hike. Part of what I was doing was going on hike trails and stuff out in like the Badlands and mountains in the area here. So I was climbing all these peaks and stuff, right? I still have the pictures of my dad in his 60s with muscular dystrophy climbing these desert mountain peaks using his walker like rock climbing equipment to go up the steep sides.
That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. That's pretty
He
awesome.
he never quit. He never quit his whole life. He was always up. He was always doing shit. Nothing kept him down.
And you
And
are
yeah, he was going
absolutely
up.
correct, NB Geeks. That is absolutely true. My medication is a pack of smokes and something 90 proof. That works for me.
And yeah, it was literally these sides were so steep that he was holding the walker out in front of him and pulling himself up the slope with it. It was literally using it like rock climbing equipment.
That is pretty cool, actually.
That is definitely.
There've been several times when I had trouble with my legs, and I just grabbed both of my canes. I was like, "There, I'm going to use both my canes now." Actually, they're coming out to give me a walker today, so I'm pretty cool about that. I don't know why they have to come out and show me how to use a walker. It's not like walkers are complicated.
Oh, Courtney, honey, I'm sorry. I really am. It well for my dad, unfortunately, he had the canes for a long time and God, my dad I pity anybody who tried to mess with his kids during that time. Because my dad was not above smacking somebody or some animal with a cane if it had tried to attack his kids. And
That's what I'm talking
he had
about.
those big heavy metal canes. So when he did it, well, there was
That's what I'm talking about.
my dad was
Actually,
always willing to
just
fight for his
you
family.
know,
It didn't
right
matter.
now, and this is the funny part that I really loved it. It's like I walk out to my truck and it feels like I'm walking uphill to my truck, even though it's downhill to my truck. And then, I get something out of my truck and I turn around and I'm walking uphill back to the house, and I'm like, whew, I haven't climbed a mountain in like 6 years, but well, hey, look, the porch rail is right there. I'm almost there.
I think it was one of the funniest memories I have is that The guy that would not stop bothering me. And yeah, I get it. Okay, as a teenager, I looked like an adult woman. He wouldn't stop bothering me though, and he was starting to actually freak me out. And then Dad just racked him across the stomach with his cane.
Thank you again for the advice, Courtney. Yes, I know why they have to show you how to use a walker. I get it. I totally do. But I've been using one on and off for the last few weeks because I've needed to. So I get it. It's cool though.
Well,
I
they've
like
got
it.
procedures they have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course. It's all about liability for the hospital that is giving you the walker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's fine. They can come over. The thing is, I think they scheduled it during my psychiatry appointment, but my
Hmm.
psychiatry appointment is on the computer, so that's not a problem. I will be here when they get here with the walker.
But I think
That's pretty crazy.
as I go through all this, and as you go through all this, I'm going to say something that my dad said once because I think it's relevant. Because I sat down with Dad and was trying to find out what he was going through and understand it as a kid. And I was asking him, and I asked him how he felt about dealing with this. And I just remember him looking at me and going, I would rather it was me dealing with this condition than somebody who couldn't handle it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That
Absolutely.
he would
That's
rather
why I'm
take the
here
pain
making
on
jokes.
himself. He would rather take the pain on himself than see somebody else go through it.
Right. That's why I'm here making jokes instead of allowing my friends to be all mad and angry and sad for me. It's like, don't. I'm here making jokes. I've known this was coming for a long time. I'd rather have fun with my friends
Me,
than be angry and upset all the time, which I
oh,
have been
oh,
apparently for the last few weeks.
okay. I told you all that I made all the bath soaks and everything yesterday, right? There was an interesting moment in the middle of that. Now you guys know that I have the seizure damage, the nerve issues, the memory issues, and the developing
Hmm.
Parkinson's issues. So, I have these weird
Right.
ticks and twitches and spasms and stuff. I had one of those go off while I was trying to delicately pour a tiny amount of the anise oil into one of the oil mixes,
Oh.
and
Oh
it
my
dumped about half
god.
a bottle of anise
Yes.
oil into this bottle. Um, and about the time that happened, I went, "Oh shit!" And
And
Mom comes
I
out. We laugh about what happened, and then we fix it, remove most of that oil, and then use the other mix into another batch to thin it and all that stuff. And while we're doing this, we're laughing our asses off. Afterwards, we're sitting there looking at it going, well, we miss. And Mom goes, I miss your father, but I'm kind of glad he wasn't here for this issue. It's like, oh God. My dad was allergic to anise and licorice.
Oh, you know what? I don't like star anise and I don't like licorice. I can't stand it.
He
Although
was
I like
the thing is
fennel
he
seed, which smells the same, but I like fennel seed in my meats, so that's weird.
he was allergic to them, and me and Mom have always loved our licorice. And licorice is also really healing on the liver, so I have to use it a lot in my stuff because of the liver damage from seizure meds. So I use licorice and anise a lot in my stuff. Dad couldn't. Mom and me love it. And then we walked around the house going, hey, the whole house smells like anise. I like this. Good thing your dad's not here for it. Very, very twisted, morbid jokes about it, but it was how we were coping, you
Right,
know?
that is
Hmm.
how you cope. Otherwise, you just get sad all the time, and I choose not to do that. I mean, I joked with my mom up to the day before she died, because I I knew that it was coming because her oxygen level had gone down to 60%, and it happened to be a Sunday, and so I called everybody that was close enough to come out, and they all came out, and we played trivia and we played card games, and we were just joking and messing around and eating snacks and things like that. I mean, we had a really great time, and then we took like 1,000 pictures of everybody who was there and just had a great time. And then in the morning, my mom's oxygen went down to 40%. And I said, okay, well, let's just go ahead and call call hospice and get her a bed because it would be a lot more comfortable there. And yeah, sure enough, they took care of everything. Hospice was fantastic.
Yeah.
And see, that's the thing is, well, while this was all happening to Dad, there were three hospitals we dealt with. The small town hospital halfway between here and the city did amazing. In fact, the specialists at Denver Leukemia Center, which is one of the top rated cancer centers in the world, said that all the tests and all the work that they did there was so immaculate, so perfect, so spot on. They didn't have to redo any of that. They could get straight to taking care of him to get the pain down. That says something for a small town hospital in the middle of the mountains.
Yeah.
Um, the second hospital was
Hasper,
bad.
I was gonna say, I was gonna say, Astor, you're right. I'd rather smell licorice than anus.
But the second hospital was bad. Well, it was during the second hospital that I got to see him. And literally, when Mom told us that he was asking for us, we left that night. I spent 2 hours frantic all over the house getting ready to leave because I was still really sick and injured at that point, and we left that night. I was having a reaction and stuff in that hospital. Dad knew he was dying, but he sent me out of the hospital. That was the last time I got to see him, though. But we said goodbye at least, you know.
Yeah, the love he had for you was more important than having someone next to him, which is fantastic, and that's wonderful that he was still thinking of you at the very end. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
but oh, honestly, the very end. The last thing he did before he fell asleep and didn't wake up was grope my mom and tease her.
Now that's a man right there.
I'm
I
not
love
kidding. The
it.
last thing he did before he fell asleep and he didn't wake up that night, the last thing he did was grope her butt and tease her.
That's amazing. That's
too bad Hester
fantastic.
was known for that.
Hey, I'll be right back. I'm out of ginger ale, so
And no, Courtney, I'm in the Black
I
Hills,
shall
but
return.
the Denver clinic is. Try to think how long it's several hour drive from here, but yeah. And so yeah, that was the last thing Dad did. Okay. Well, they were married 42 years also, so.
True.
And Mom was it was proof that it was still Dad up to the end. I mean,
An awesome Looney Tunes fan, Brandon Looney Tunes fan 2000 now has
way to
500
go.
subscribers. That is awesome.
And it's one of those things where you think telling most people they wouldn't understand because a lot of people would be sitting there going, "Oh my god," right? It's like my dad and my mom were always mushy. They were always affectionate and holding and stuff like that. And he had to be. We did lose him during this, Courtney, but yeah, that was the last thing Dad did. And then when he left Rapid to head to Denver, I had to make that also decision because yeah, I knew I didn't have COVID and the standard stuff that was going around, but I couldn't guarantee 100% that what I was going through was just allergies either. So, knowing I wasn't going to see him again, I didn't go because I was not going to risk making anybody sick in a cancer hospital.
Yeah.
And that was the right thing to do. And me and him both agreed on that. But it was also very difficult because it was, I know I'm saying goodbye to him, you know,
Yeah.
but
I
it
still
wouldn't have
love the
been
thought of the last thing your dad did.
the last thing he did. She was turning to leave as he was going to sleep after they gave him his pain meds and stuff. And he grabbed her by the butt. She said, "You grab my butt." He said, "I don't know what you're talking about," and teasing her. And that was the last thing they did together. And he went to sleep. So yes, his last words were teasing mom, and his last action was groping her to the end. To the
Yeah,
end.
that is a perfect relationship right there. That should be everybody's relationship. That's
Anybody who can
awesome.
have a marriage for over 40 years, and even as you're dying, all you want to do is touch and love and tease on your spouse some more before you go. That does actually say something pretty
Yep.
profound.
It is profound and it's very difficult to find. My grandparents were the same way. They were flirting and laughing with each other all the way to the end.
I was
You know,
sitting
so
backstage talking to Richard when my mom told me this. And he smiles and lifts up his glass and goes, "A cheers to your dad." It's like
that's what I'm saying. You know, that's a
he went out like
man,
he
baby.
went out like a man, grabbing his woman.
Yeah, I love it. My grandfather was flirting with every woman who would come by the house. I mean, he flirted. He was an insatiable flirt. He was one of those guys that was always every single daughter-in-law, every single granddaughter when they came of age, because he wasn't a weirdo. But yeah, it was like, oh, look at that pretty girl walking out of the room. I like that. He would say things like that when he wasn't able to move anymore, right? And then, of course, he started losing his mind and all that. And so he wouldn't even remember who he was talking to. But every time he saw a woman, he was like, hey, beautiful.
That could get really awkward fast. I mean, holy crap.
Well,
Everybody
as
knew
long
it.
as you, I was gonna say, as long as you know that it's not meant badly, yeah.
Yeah.
All of us knew
But
it. It was awesome when I first introduced him to my ex, because he was like, "Oh, you're marrying him, huh? Are you sure? You can
I
marry
got
me."
I got a really interesting moment. I got a really interesting moment because I've always known my dad as being kind of big and bulky and stuff like that. And I knew they said he bulked out in college because he was really pushing himself to grow muscles because he was starting to develop issues then and he was trying to get strong, which is probably why he lived as long as he did because it eats your muscles. You can't regrow them. So the more muscle you have to start with, the longer you can live through it if you keep yourself physically active, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm
But
curious.
I
Oh,
know,
because it's muscular dystrophy.
yeah,
Got
because
it.
you
Okay,
don't
now I
regrow what you
understand what you're
lose to it.
saying.
You don't
Okay.
regrow what you lose to it. So I knew, but I always said my dad was a bit of a nerd boy when he was a kid. Well, I mean, we all know my husband is very much a scrawny nerd boy. Um, we all know this. I
Yeah.
did it. I did it. I about choked laughing so hard because my mom pulled out these pictures, and then there was some of them I hadn't seen before. As she pulled out one of my dad right as he was before he left for college, and oh my god, he looked a lot like my husband, scrawny nerd boy and all. And
That's
I looked at
great.
this picture and I'm going, "You've
That's
got to be
great.
fucking shitting me." And she's like, "Why do you think I said you married someone so much like your father?" It's like, I'm just looking at it going, "Got to be kidding me." And she's
I'm
laughing
I'm
at me the
I'm
whole
gonna
time.
uh, I'm gonna change my avatar real quick because this was 2 years ago, and that was me 2 years ago, right? And you could see
Hmm.
the poofy face and all that. I was about 240 pounds at that point, but I still
Mm-hmm.
had all my muscle and everything, so my arms were, X amount of inches and all that stuff. Now I'm gonna switch back to my regular avatar because I don't like that picture. And then I'm gonna turn my camera on and let's see if I can lean back a little bit so you guys can get a better view. Right, I've lost a ton of weight in 2 years, not by choice, obviously, but there's my little chicken arm now. You see?
I mean,
I mean, look, not only do I lose a whole bunch of muscle up here, but I've still got the saggy shit on the bottom.
I remember telling one
It's
woman that if she
absolutely
kept flirting with
insane.
my husband, I was going to break off her chicken legs and shove them up her crotch. She didn't seem to like that for some reason. I
I
can't
can't
imagine
imagine
why.
why she would.
But no, it's literally in the family ever since I married Steve. The way we interact with each other, everyone's always compared us to my mom and dad. And I'll take it
That
because they had such a close and such a dear and such a deep marriage for over 40 years. I'll take it.
yeah, that's a great compliment.
But my husband, who's always made a lot of the same kind of smart ass comments as my dad, anyways. In fact, my dad, part of what he would do is I don't know what you're talking about, playing innocent after he does smart ass shit or did something that could get him in trouble was a normal thing for him. But one of the things Dad always did was this little fake pouty lip, and he did it so well, quivering and all. And my husband does it too. And I'm like, oh my god,
Oh, mm,
it's interesting at times. But no, I mean, he does. And my dad never liked a single guy who tried to flirt with me. They were
no,
either going to get hit or they were going to get threatened, or he discouraged them from talking to me. If they tried to act like they wanted to kiss or touch me, it was going to kill them. He was never that way with Steve. He sat there laughing as he's acting that way towards me.
I had to respond to Courtney's Fellowship of Oddballs. I had to. I
absolutely.
had no
I
choice.
Nope, none at all.
I mean, I seriously, I'm only 45, right? And I spent 18 years in the army, 4 deployments, all that stuff. Like I was super soldier, everything. I was the guy, you know? And then now it's like, okay, I'm the guy, but in a different way. Like I'm not physically the guy anymore. I just make jokes on other people's channels now. So I'm cool with that. I like it.
But I've been laughing a lot at the memories because it's better than getting myself cry too much.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I cry. Obviously, I do. I mean, I'm not saying, it's like, oh, that's unmanly. You can't ever cry. But I don't want to live in that state of being sad all the time. So I choose
Exactly,
not to. Choose not to.
exactly. And
There are
unfortunately, that you have to make that choice.
Exactly. You have to make that choice and you have to make it for yourself. Everybody around you can be like, put on a smile. And you'd be like, I don't feel like I just go away. Rah. Or,
Well, there's a difference between somebody else saying "put on a smile" and somebody saying, "Here, let me give you a reason to smile," and they'll do something silly or
and
stupid. Just
hopefully, I have given people reasons to smile because
absolutely,
that's what I want to do. I don't want to dwell in my own pain. I don't want others to dwell in their pain. I just want to make people smile and laugh. So that's what I try to do. And sometimes I do go overboard, and sometimes I say inappropriate things. But I try my best.
I hear somebody in the background.
Ornery.
Ow.
Like this morning, right? Okay, so I went to bed at 10 o'clock, and I slept for about 4 hours, and then I got up, and I was like, oh crap, all right. And I could tell that I was going to be awake the rest of the night. The rest of the night, I just knew it. However, I tried to go back to sleep. I laid in the bed for over an hour, like an hour and 30 minutes. I laid in the bed just going flip, flip, flop. And then I got mad and I realized that I was mad and I was like, oh, hey, I bet I know somebody online right now. And sure enough, Captain Trek, you're still on. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get up because I'm going to be up anyway. I might as well just go have fun.
Absolutely.
Instead of I have to sleep with a CPAP, right? And so
Hmm.
I took my mask off and I had a choice. I could roll over onto my pillow and scream into it and then start crying, or I could get up and come in here and talk to you guys. And I chose to get up and come in here and talk to you guys.
That is definitely the better choice.
I think so too. I think one of the things that helped me make the choice was that I started listening to the album that I took with me to Bosnia, Nora Jones.
Hmm.
And so I was like, you know what? I didn't give up then. I'm not going to give up now. I'm just going to get up, not give up, get up. So I hope you don't mind, Captain Trek.
No.
You're my first choice, even though my second choice was to stay in bed. But I got up to hang out with you, brother.
Oh, I do appreciate that. Been a while since you've been on.
It has
Nice
been.
to
As
have
a
you
matter of
on.
fact, I think the last time I was on your channel is when I was awake all night and I had been drinking a lot. And so it did not go well, I don't think. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Well, you were talking about how tired you were and how you couldn't sleep, and
Oh, that's right. I'm in that same cycle now. Well, that makes a lot more sense.
it's like,
Yeah, it's been cycling back and forth, I mean, uh, I got to the point where I was like, okay, I should take these sleep aids, and then I would sleep for like an hour or maybe 2 hours, right? So at one point, I think like a year ago, at one point I was awake for like 4 days. Not by choice, mind you. There are YouTubers out there who keep doing those marathon streams, and I'm like, why do you do that? That is absolutely insane. But I was up for like 4 days, and I was like, something's wrong with me.
well, it's too bad you don't know when those are coming on. Then you could have one of your marathon streams.
Oh, I don't
Well,
ever intend to do a marathon stream.
I was
I
gonna
think
say to what
people are
Courtney
crazy
just
for doing it.
said there about having the insomnia and chronic fatigue. Well, I mean, I have the insomnia issues and the hyperactivity issues, but I also have a constant fight with anemic issues because my body doesn't um, absorb properly proteins and stuff like that. So I'm bouncing between being hyper as fuck or groggy and collapsing. And yeah, it's a hell of a rough ride sometimes.
It can be, yeah, it can be, especially if you're working on your house while you're in that state. It's like, okay, I've got kids upstairs. They haven't gone to school yet, so that means I can't work on the house. So I'm sitting in my easy chair going, do 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 do, watching TV or something, and just waiting, waiting, waiting. And then the kids get up. I'm making breakfast. They go to school, and then I get to start working on the house. But at like on day 4, after I haven't slept for 4 days, it's like, what do you want there's hold on, just was cereal and milk. I bought milk. There, it's in the refrigerator. I bought it yesterday. I swear I did. Go to school. It's like, this is day 4, isn't it? I mean, I've been awake that long, really? That's ridiculous. Absolutely insane. But yeah, it was fine. Now I know even if I only get 1 hour of sleep, it's a lot better than getting none. So I love it though. I love it. I got into an argument with
Sleep.
my neighbor one time because I hadn't slept in like 3 days, and he came out and he said, blah 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 blah, and I went, shut up, blah 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 blah, and we argued back and forth for like 30 minutes. Here's the funny part: 2 sheriff's deputies lived 2 houses down from us. Neither one of them came out to stop the argument. They just I said, "Oh, those guys, yeah, just let them get on with it."
I could make a horrible joke and go, "Look, my husband's here." Anybody who knows his Twitter handle would get that. He created his Twitter account as a spoof of Hunky Chunky Monkey, and he
Mm-hmm.
uses this little monkey as his avatar, making calling it the Mooch.
Right on. There you go. Awesome.
So, but it's one of my goddaughter's favorite things. B, it's one of my niece's favorite things. So I kind of cuddle it when I miss my girls.
Hello, hello, hello. Robert Rose Jr. has joined us in the chat. Hello.
Good morning, Robert Rose Jr. How are you?
Oh, BK Dan. That's funny. I love it if my typing gets looked at. I get it. Chats are hard to deal with, man, especially if there's a lot of people on them. It's not like every host reads every comment, but yeah.
Trust me, I try to read every comment. I
I
don't
try
always read it
to.
out loud.
I try to. Sometimes it gets impossible.
Oh yeah, it is tough. It is tough. And Captain Trek, do you mind if I like plug my new show?
No, not at all. Go for it, please.
Okay. Starting today at 5 p.m. Pacific, which is the only real time zone. You guys in the central area, I don't know what you're thinking. But yeah, 5 p.m. today. It's a new show that I'm calling Chapter a Day with Mr. CCDV.
Also, screw the coast. The only real time zones are Mountain and Central. I mean,
I'm going through the Bible chapter by chapter, starting in Genesis and ending in Revelation.
I'm here.
Yeah, that's over 1,100 chapters that I have to read in the next couple of months. So these are all going to be pre-recorded videos, but I will be in the chat as often as possible. I want to get as many videos in the can as I possibly can while I can still read.
Right.
So I that's my new thing. Oh, thank you, Christian Fandom Geek. Thank you. Yes, that's the whole point. I hope you get a chance to watch. Tonight is the first episode, Genesis chapter 1. And someone else is editing the videos so I don't sound like I'm tripping over my own voice often.
What?
But I will be in the chat today, definitely. Hopefully tomorrow as well. But I have to go to an appointment in a city that's an hour away, and then we're gonna do some grocery shopping. So hopefully I'll make it back in time to be in the chat tomorrow. But I will definitely be in the chat today.
What?
I will try to be there. I can't promise because that's usually about the time I'm taking a nap.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And no worries. It really is like, I'm literally just reading a chapter. So it's going to be like 3 to 7 minutes long, depending on the chapter and how long it takes to read it. I'm not expositoring. I'm not explaining. I'm not giving my opinion. I'm just literally reading the chapter. Chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, etc., etc. And I'm doing absolutely nothing else.
It's going to be interesting come some longer chapters.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, they may be 10-minute videos. But I will try my best to absolutely be sure that they start on time and that I'm in the chat as often as possible. But I need to get them all recorded and get them uploaded and all that stuff. So that's what I'll be doing for the next couple of months while I can still think. And read while I can still read. Sorry.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, we have a party crasher here.
Oh.
Good morning, Pacific 414. Good morning, you little devil.
You really have a cute little pussy there.
You just wanted to say that so bad, didn't you?
I did. I did. I couldn't help myself.
And it's so soft too.
But it's not wet.
She ran away. Like, what? What? I'm out of here. You scared my pussy. I mean,
Oh, I scared your pussy away. Oh, seriously, I can't help myself. I have to make that joke every time I see a cat on screen.
Wow. Keely, if you're still out there, go ahead and put in the link for Loki's Mornings of Mischief. If you're going, BK Dan, have a good day. Thank you for coming by. It's always good to have you. For some reason, we're getting spam today in chat, so that's one reason it's hard to.
That's weird.
Spammers just suck butts.
You will be missed. Don't ever think that you won't be missed.
I've had that conversation before, wondering if I would be missed. And yeah, I will actually be missed. I've talked to a bunch of people. Captain Trek, thank you very much again for inviting me last week.
Absolutely. You are welcome anytime.
Yeah, in my moments of lucidity, I remember stuff, right? And then in my moments of non-lucidity, people are like, "Oh, you're so good, though." And I was like, "Thank you." But yeah, I figure, what the hell? I mean, we've all had online friends who have died suddenly or over the course of months or whatever. Yeah. We've known they were going to, or we didn't know they were going to, and we remember them up to a year later, years later. You know.
Oh, it's funny because there was an online friend that I had hadn't spoken to in a couple of weeks, for a while back, and we had talked usually every few days, and hadn't been on for a couple of weeks. All of a sudden, I see them come on, and it's like, oh, hey, what's up? What's going on? And it's like, so I found out it was actually their uncle going through all the stuff, settling things. They died in a car accident. So
I think the one that took me weirdest by shock was I had somebody friend me and start talking to me one night, and this was the daughter of a friend of mine, and I was messaging her and talking to her the night she friended me there, and I found out the next morning that basically when I said goodnight to her, she ended up dying in a car wreck on the way home right after that.
Wow.
Egads. That's tough.
It was kind of a shock and a half. But it's also because she'd reached out and friended me and was talking to me because we were planning stuff that she was going to do for her mother. Mm-hmm. And this was for the stuff I make and sell and the stuff I do for people. And she literally had said that I got to get going. I got to get home because she had just gotten done with work and stuff. And she didn't get home.
Yeah. And good morning, editor Jill. Yeah. Go on.
I was going to say, anti-derivative Jill, how do you type that much? I mean, seriously, that's like a whole paragraph. That's fantastic. Love to see you here. No, we've all lost people. I mean, if you're over 30 years of age, you've lost someone. Or you could dwell on that, or you could just, give them the memory they deserve and then move on. And that's what I choose to do.
It's gonna be hard getting used to not having Dad around.
Well, I understand. I was in depressive states a lot when my dad died. And that was, 20, 21 years ago. and
Good
it
morning,
took me a long time.
Alexander.
So it is what it
And
is, man. You know.
for you, I'm going to go ahead and play it for you.
Listen to me very carefully because I'm only going to say this once. Coffee. Black.
Coffee. Black. While I've got your attention, there are...
Coffee first. Well, this mentor would like another cup of coffee. I'm just gonna have to give up coffee. Want some coffee?
If I'm not mistaken, that's your third cup this morning.
Fourth, and on a day like today, it won't be my last. Coffee. The finest organic suspension ever devised. Commander, set a new course. There's coffee in that nebula.
That's great.
And I still hate coffee.
Oh, I used to drink an entire pot of coffee a day.
Oh, I drink about 2 pots of tea every day, but
I'd have to cut back to 1 pot of coffee.
You had to cut back to 1 pot of coffee.
No, that I'm not going to do that yet. I need to, but no.
I was, yeah, when I was working still. I was up to 1 pot of coffee a day. And I'd take it in my thermos to work and refill my cup and all that stuff and blah, blah, blah. And I never really understood why anybody would go to a coffee shop and pay $4 or $5 for a cup of coffee.
I don't get that on
same
any of
$4
that
or
stuff.
$5 will buy you an entire can of coffee that you can make at home.
I don't get that on any stuff because again, I'm a tea addict and stuff, right? Can you imagine the amount of tea that I drink to buy the fancy and the high-end ones and pay several bucks a cup? How much my tea would cost?
Wow, that would be a lot.
Holy cow!
Because you've been on streams with me, Captain Truck, where I go through like 3-4 pots during the stream.
Oh yeah, I have.
Yeah, that would be the thing is, I like it at home because I don't like the chemical processing they do on most teas because it does change the flavor and consistency.
Mm-hmm.
And what is she up to? Holy crap, that evil cat. I'm sorry. And the thing is that I mix them all from scratch. I make my own flavors. I make my own stuff. What the hell are you doing, weirdo?
Put a Steve there?
No.
Sorry. Had to.
I know. No, he had to go home for a week to take care of some stuff, so it's just me and Mom.
Just a splash of lemon juice and a little bit of orange rind makes tea drinkable.
Oh, tea is amazing.
Other than that, I don't drink tea. I don't.
My teas are not. The thing is, if you get the raw tea ingredients and stuff like that, they taste so much different than the crap you get in the stores. Store-bought teas suck. I hate them. But raw teas I mix from scratch, the base ingredients. Okay, you know those giant canisters like people put popcorn in for holidays and stuff?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
What if I have one of those giant ones with the screw on top that's full of gunpowder green tea?
What if? I don't know. It'll go stale after 6 months.
No, it won't.
Really? Okay.
No, if you get fresh tea ingredients, they will, and you seal them well, they will stay fresh for years.
Well, go for it.
And I will get these bulks, and I'll mix a whole bunch of canisters and tubs of my own different flavors and stuff, and I will drink them in mass. And every so often, every so many months to a year or two, I have to rebuy the bulk and redo it.
Well, at least you got the skills to know how to do it.
I learned how to mix teas doing it with my dad when I was little. Darius, the strongest green tea in the world is named gunpowder. It is the most purified, cleanest, and strongest green tea in the world.
Now, I'm not a big fan of drinking black powder because there's too much sulfur in it. But cordite, I'm okay with. I can just put cordite in my coffee all day long. I'm fine with that. You guys know the difference between black powder and cordite, right?
Yeah. That's why I laughed. But no, I know it's kind of funny that they call it gunpowder. They do, because it has kind of a energetic kick the second you take a sip.
Ah, is that why they call it that? Okay. Green tea's
strong.
got a lot of caffeine, huh?
Oh, that one does. It's not just caffeine though. It's how it is the strongest green tea. So if you make it like you would a standard green tea, it's very strong, it's very flavorful, and it has this kick on your tongue of flavor.
Ah, okay. You know what else does? Breakfast wine.
I don't drink. I've never drank.
I'm not saying I've been drinking.
No, Ori, bad. No. You're not making yourself a cave to sleep in underneath the computer.
Yes, she is.
You did see that picture of what she does, right, Captain?
Yep.
You remember the hollow she made herself as she was crawling out of?
Oh, yeah.
She was just trying to headbutt and make a hollow in the blanket that's holding up the computer.
Well, unfortunately, my pain level is going up. I'm going to go ahead and call this a stream. Please go on over to Loki's Mornings of Mischief. Keely Chow, if you're still in the chat, drop that link one more time. I do want to thank everybody who's been on the panel, both Rosetta and
Mr. CCDV.
Not what I meant to do.
It's all right. It's all right.
We all have those moments. It's okay.
Mr. CCTV, please say when you're going to be on again.
5:00 this afternoon Pacific time, so 7:00 your time.
Awesome.
Well, it really is. It's really only going to be like 5 to 7 minutes. That's it. But I will be in the chat.
Awesome. That's good to hear. Well, with that, I'll leave you with this.
Remember, never let anybody tell you what you can and can't say, what you should or should not watch, because your silence gives consent.